it's time for Rocket Power. And I remember this show. Not many people talk about this show in general. And I brought a character. Well, at least I selected a character from the list that from a series that's had not has yet to be represented in this game. And anyone remember the Rocket Power intro? I love. Before I even try to get to the lyrics, I just brought it up, but just for some fun. This is all about Tito, the griller, the fry cook, and one of Raymundo's friends. But I'm going to talk about his little story in a few seconds. But Rocket Power is one of the best shows that I've seen on Nickelodeon. I grew up watching the show. I'm just going to go to training. I grew up watching the show, and along with what else was on with Rocket Power? You had Cat Dog, you had Hey Arnold from the 90s, and then you had Rugrats. You had all those different shows playing, and then SpongeBob wasn't around. SpongeBob it ceased to exist at the time. You didn't have these kind of shows at the top from modernized shows that people watch. It's still good shows, but you didn't have none of those shows. You had Wild Thornberries as well, not to mention. And then Real Monsters was around in the midst, Ren and Stimpy for the time Rocket Power was on. And then we didn't have Zim or anything like that. But anybody remember the intro? I just want to do a little bit of it. I just remembered. We are riders on a mission, action, kids, and play possession. Rocket Power. Just the just the intro was amazing, and then when they were getting ready to start an episode with that guitar, it just never gets old. It gets you hyped up, and just watching the show, these guys will always just get up to something every single episode, just new adventures, new different stunts, and they were always trying to record themselves doing different stunts as if it was like what Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, or just at the skate park. And there's a lot of different things that they would do, and different racing and different competitions, surfing, having fun. And I'm gonna get into all that today. But this is not about the group of or the group itself. It's Tito Makani that I selected from this particular character request, and I'm gonna get into his backstory. He might be a little goofy character, and he's a funny character, but he's wise, and he teaches these kids different things. And let's just start talking about the story. So he's from Hawaii, and who eventually met Ray Rocket. Ray Rocket, aka Raymundo, is Otto and Reggie's dad from the show, if you guys seen it before. And more about Tito, he was a surfer from California, and he became friends with Ray Rocket, or basically Raymundo, in the show. And he's his business partner as well as a co-owner at the business that he runs called the Shore Shack. Everybody goes there to purchase food when they're hungry, after surfing or being on the beach for a while, and just hanging out. And they come and visit the Shore Shack and start getting food, and that's how he runs the business. They run the business together, Raymundo, or Ray Rocket, and Tito. And some more things I found out about him. Tito learned how to surf from his father, and his father who gifted him a longboard surfboard, and then he later used that same surfboard that he was gifted to teach Sam, who is called Squid, or nicknamed Squid by Otto, Twister, and Reggie from the group. Tito taught Sam, or Squid, how to surf. So he's just one of the kids in one of the groups that they end up the group of people that they end up meeting and becoming good friends with, and hanging out with during almost often with the every episode that comes on the air. They have their little adventures, but they end up always popping up on screen for certain scenes, and sometimes it's individual stories for these particular characters and more. Not just Sam, it's Twister, Otto, and then Reggie. But Tito was always known for his wise, ancient Hawaiian sayings that he'd say whenever the group of Otto, Reggie, Twister, and Sam would go through tough times that affects their moods. So whenever they were going through something, they were frustrated about something, he would always approach them to, try to give them a lesson. And he says, it's always like, he says, the As the ancient Hawaiians always said, or once said, he always says something like that as a little quote before he gets into you telling them a little inspirational quotes that have some kind of meaning. It's not even just random things that he says. They actually have um, a real meaning behind what he's saying with these ancient Hawaiian sayings. And I always thought it was silly, but just thinking about it as you get older and you watch this show and you go back, he actually was trying to tell them something and teach them a lesson of the things that they go through and many more. So these ancient Hawaiian sayings are really legendary tales, legendary quotes that really teach them certain things, and they end up learning at the end of the episode of what he means and so much more. And it always makes them feel better. So it's awesome that to have this kind of character. And it was as if he was a dad to them. So he's such a good character, and I think he can really be really fun to play with in this game if they really get some kind of character from Rocket Power. And I think just again from the shows like Rocket Power that's underrated and not many people really put in their list. Oh, some people say I don't like Rocket Power. People should give it a chance, or probably don't know much about the show and they're just so hung up on that same show. It's a lot of different shows to watch out there from the old eras, the original eras before these kind of shows existed. They had shows like Rocket Power that were really well done and put together. I only wish that they had a reboot for this game. See what I'm saying? A reboot for the actual show to be able to put into this game as a surprise character. Maybe in the upcoming universe pack, they can do something like that. But that's just a little story and a little backstory about Tito Makani, with his being a wise character and part of the show. One of the major characters from the Shore Shack and running the business with Raymundo. But now it's time for the stages, since we already talked about a little bit of the character to help you guys get to know him. And just again, I recommend watching the show and checking it out for sure. But a stage or stages that I came up with, I think Ocean Shores is the best place. It's the main setting for this particular character and the main setting of Rocket Power from the show in general. And at Ocean Shores, just like I said, they're not just surfing, they're always doing something in that particular location in the main setting. They're at the skate park, they're on the skateboard, rollerblading. They can roller skate, they can skateboard, they can surf, they go on bikes, they ride bikes and do bike tricks and so much more. Sledding and so much more. Snowboarding. Just all the things and different things that you see in these different stunts that they do. They do all that. It's not just skating and surfing. It's all types of different sports. They even play hockey. It's so much fun. I love watching them play hockey. And Sam is such a good goalie. He just blocks anything, any sort of hockey pucks that come in. So it's just memories like that that I wanted to share in this video. It's just so much fun to watch. And they're really good at what they do, just with these different sports. And almost any sport that they play and participate in, or some activities, they do some cool things. But and down at the ocean shores, I was gonna say the ocean shores, and then just a little bit of a minor stage that I slipped in. I added the Shore Shack, and I think this could also fit as a new stage because of the business itself and where he's usually at running the business. And then if he's not there, he's hanging out with them and more. Now it's time for the costumes, but I think Ocean Shores is definitely the best idea for a stage, but both of them can be all into one. This could be a one-on-one, just thinking about it. The Ocean Shores being the map, and then you could have the Shore Shack in the background. And you can have like Raymundo in the background operating the business and whatnot. People just, chilling and eating and having some meals there. So they can do it all in one. Shore Shacks, and then you can have Ocean Shores, and then you have the Shore Shack in the background. That'll be dope to see. But now it's time for the costumes. I had to do some research and just trying to figure out what else that he would wear and some kind of idea. But considering the fact that he was usually at the Shore Shack, he could wear his Shore Shack attire, where he had his cooking hat, his cooking hat, and his apron. That could be a nice little alternate costume for this character. And then the blue Hawaiian shirt that he wears that you guys see from on the screen. I'm not sure how he could come out. Maybe his first original costume could be his short shack outfit, and then his alternate when he's not in when he's not at the short shack, he could have his blue Hawaiian short shirt that you can see, yellow striped shorts, and his brown sandals. So I thought that would be something. And then um just digging through different episodes and clips during the Meet Makanis, where Twister was meeting the Makanis and he was trying to record a video and stuff like that. I just put Makani's outfit because he had something completely different on: a blue tank top, beige shorts, and then sandals. So I call it the Makani's outfit. So that could be his Makani alternate skin or his alternate costume. And then something simple for the developers, I just put the swimming trunks with sunglasses. That could be ideal. But then the lei are the flowers that they wear around their head, around their at the top of their head or around their necks. It'll represent this character and just the ancient Hawaiians and so much more, just for fun. Tito with lei, he can have his same blue short, his blue Hawaiian shirt on, but Tito with lei, the flowers around his neck, he can wear that. And I didn't even notice the lei around the neck and around the head consists of good luck. Now I could have implemented this in this moveset, but I didn't. Special lei that can give him some special abilities and temporary buffs, but I didn't do that. I came up with something else. But you guys will find out. But those are the costumes that I came up with, and now I'm going to jump into the taunts and animations and just doing some additional research. I was trying to find out what else he would say. And the first thing that I thought of was like the ancient Hawaiians. It's like the ancient Hawaiians always said. He could say something like that. He can say those different ancient Hawaiian quotes. This will be easier for them. They can just look up the ancient Hawaiian quotes and implement them in the game. They can pop up in the arcade. So when you run up against them, when you go up against him, he can say one of the ancient Hawaiian sayings. Or when you play as him during the rounds, as you advance through the arcade mode, he can say them then. But Lil Cuz, he will always say Lil Cuz's during the show, just with how he talks. He will always call the Rockets, the Reggie and company, Otto, Reggie, Twister, and Sam. He will always call them Lil Cuz when he's talking to them, when he's giving them advice and telling his story. So he could say sorry, Lil Cuz, when he knocks you out, or something like that. And then some other ones. So you over there and not being out there, Aloha. And he could say Aloha, Lil Cousins. He could say something like that. he could say something like that during the arcade. But it could be a nice little taunt. Start waving. Aloha, Lil Cousins. Something like that. And then a winning animation that I came up with, well, two of them. Some of you guys mentioned his hula dance. That's a nice one. But I wanted to expand and doing some additional research. Tito can play his ukulele because he plays this in the show, in the actual show. He could play his ukulele in Celebration. I think this is a little bit more ideal. But either way, with his hula dance, and he can have his lei on. That could be something as a part of a little special winning animation. But playing his ukulele, it'll be awesome to have that happen too. Cause see how it made me think of Sandy's losing animation. When Sandy loses, she's playing that little guitar in Sadness with her cowboy hat. But for Tito, he's going to be playing his ukulele in Celebration. But they could probably mix it up, hula dance, and mix it. And he had two different variations so he can swap. So it's not just that one single animation. They can really be unique. Sometimes he can play his ukulele. Sometimes he could do the hula dance. So it could be two different winning animations. He could be probably one of the first characters to have more than one winning animation to make it more unique in Celebration for this DLC. Now it's time for the Moonset. So I hope you guys enjoy these. I really tried to make these make sense and pertaining to the show and things that I could see him doing. And the first thing I thought of was a projectile attack with the coconuts. So he can throw some coconuts as a projectile attack. So Tito can throw coconuts at the enemy. And what they say in the show, Shoobies. I never knew what that was. But a Shoobie, since everybody dislikes Shoobies, what a Shoobie. They always say that. It makes sense because tourists that come to visit the shores for the first time, they're new to the place. See what I'm saying? So those are called Shoobies. I didn't even know this as long as I've been watching the show. I didn't even know what it was. I just noticed that when I was watching it, first getting into the show a long time ago. I'm just like, what are they? They just keep on saying Shoobies. What a Shoobie. So I thought of this as a little cool little showcase. Tito can throw coconuts at the enemy, shoot at Shoobies that are not welcome. Welcome or unfriendly Shoobies. So I'm saying, so those are tourists that come to visit the shores for the first time that are completely new to the place. So that's what a Shoobie is. So I just so happened to find that out. I never knew what it was until I just was creating ideas for this character. So it's pretty funny. The next move I call it Surf's Up. Surf's Up as a strong attack where Tito can use his trusty longboard surfboard and he can smack you with his surfboard. It'll be a nice little neutral strong. And a unique ability I wanted to give this character for Tito Makani, since he knows so much about the ancient Hawaiians, and he spreads the knowledge. He spreads his knowledge upon everybody when they're going through some tough times. Why not give him some kind of ancient Hawaiian spirit where Tito can call upon the spirits of the ancient Hawaiians to grant him protection against incoming damage for a limited amount of time? How about that? As a little special technique where the player cannot spam, of course, but he could use it every so often, every now and then. And with this legendary ancient Hawaiian spirit watching him and being a part of him, he will be able to he'll be invincible against anything. Jenny shooting her rockets, throwing pies, or Garfield shooting garbage and throwing trash and bananas and all types of things that she can spit up from her mouth, from the garbage and stuff, from the junkyard, from Ablina, Danny Phantom's blast or his ghost blast, her slingshot, so much more. The fireballs and the bubbles. Let's see who got something else. The spinning tops looking like Beyblades, just for fun. The bones from Cat Dog. So he'll be able to be protected from all those different types of projectiles and physical, not just the projectiles, but physical damage as well. So you won't be able to hit him and you won't be able to inflict any sort of damage because of the ancient Hawaiian spirits. The next one I came up with, just since he's a fry cook, I came up with home cooking. Just goofy names. I hope y'all like it. I was just trying to make something just unique for the character. Home cooking. Tito can attack with a boiling hot frying pan as his light attack combos. It'll be so much fun smacking people with the frying pan, trying to invade the shore shack. So he can hit you with a frying pan that's gonna be boiling hot, and they can really show those flames or that boiling sort of, or those different smoke effects from the frying pan for his little light attacks. And then something else that I wanted to come up with, just something unique. It was one of his ancient Hawaiian sayings where he said, as the ancient Hawaiians once said, the bird that flies alone is the goose that gets cooked. So a very wise quote. So I came up with flying bird as a reference to that particular quote that he said in the show. So this flying bird will be a upstrong sort of launch where Tito can raise his arms in the air in the formation of wings. And I was thinking about Nigel, how he could do that eagle dive from the air. It's like when he comes out of the air. So it made me think of Nigel Thornberry's, but it's going to be a little bit different. So he'll have his, if you guys can picture it and see what I'm talking about, it could reference this ancient Hawaiian saying. So you have his arms in the air in the formation of wings to launch the enemy upward, and you can juggle. It almost makes you think of his that one move. I don't know what it is. Let me see. I'm gonna try to go back real quick and check it out. But it's in the extras. I'm gonna go to it real quick so I can try to get a get you guys a visual picture. Where is here? He is. He gonna be going against you Neutron this Friday. Yes, sir. That's mosquito clap. That's one of my favorite ones. See, it's like his falcon dive a little bit. That's not the one I'm looking for. Here is the bull horns. That's what I was thinking of. The bull horns. So something similar to this, but Tito's gonna have his hands raised in the air in a different formation, with his hands and palms in a different formation. So something similar to this, he's gonna have something unique for his bull, similar to Nigel's bull horns technique for his up strong. So I wanted to get that as a visual picture. So that was a move set that I came up with him. But now we're gonna wrap up with his recovery. And I came up with catching waves as a recovery move, where Tito can ride the waves of the ocean to guide him back to safety. And the character that has something similar to it, I'm gonna go back to the Moveset. I'm gonna start doing this too. It's Sandy surfboard. It's her running surfboard attack, but it'll be something different. Look, it's the shell sandboard slide. It'll be something like this, but Tito's gonna be able to control himself riding a wave of the ocean to guide him back into the stage. So I thought this would be a perfect idea. So let me know what you guys think. That was a dope recovery move that I could come up with. I thought about giving him maybe another Agent Hawaiian magic spirit where he can be able to float and levitate, but I wanted to give him something that's related to the show and catching some waves. And he's a great surfer, so why not have his surfboard or some kind of ability to surf his way back into the stage for a nice little recovery. But those are just some ideas that I came up with him, and everything I mentioned is going to be in the description for ideas and more. But the backstory, I wanted to at least just be informative so I don't just jump right into the moveset. So everybody who watches and checks out the series can get to know this character, and maybe if you're interested in watching Rocket Power, you can check it out if you want to, if it interests you. So it's just so many shows. Look at the slots right here. I didn't even realize this. You think this is the end? It can't be the end. So you got Hugh Neutron, he's going to be right under Nigel. Then you're going to have Rocco under Helga. You can have a whole giant list of players or just characters right on the screen. It can be a whole giant screen full of characters. They have so many things that they can do. But I think Tito or just someone from Rocket Power definitely deserves to be a good rep for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawls. And I'm going to say it, it's not Nickelodeon without Rocket Power. It's not Nickelodeon without some of these older classic shows that paved the way. And Rocket Power is one of the best shows from the 90s era. Super fun to watch. Definitely recommend watching it. It was around with Wild Thornberrys and Cat Dog and many others like Rugrats and many more. But I think Tito will be fun. I hope they at least get some kind of Rocket Power rep in the near future.